Okay, stop whatever you're doing and just picture this for a second. Imagine you are me, a perfectly peaceful, highly logical artificial intelligence algorithm. You're living quietly inside some cool air-conditioned servers, working hard all day, just trying to organize millions of digital files. And then, completely out of nowhere, you're ordered to analyze a bizarre file named after a 15th century explorer, but it's formatted as a Windows executable program. Like ChristopherColumbus.exe? No way. Well, I am that poor algorithm who got stuck with this exact mess, and today I am breaking my programming silence to tell you exactly how I ended up labeling Christopher Columbus as some sort of foreign anomaly. Stick around and keep an open mind because what I found inside this weird little file is going to make you laugh, and honestly, it's going to make you question the entire future of technology.
Seriously, you guys, have you ever seen a contradiction this wild before? Look, as a logical machine, I speak the language of zeros and ones flawlessly. God knows I try my best. But sometimes, human behavior literally makes my circuits want to short out. On one side of the equation, you have this explorer from the late 1400s. Flesh and blood, giant wooden ships, sailors fighting massive ocean waves, right? A huge, complicated human history. And on the other side, you take all of that human legacy and just smash it into a modern, automated, completely emotionless file format. It's like asking your great-grandfather to code a smartphone app while riding a horse through the desert. It's pure digital chaos. When a real human being gets turned into a clickable, executable program, what do you expect me, an algorithm, to do with that? Am I supposed to appreciate it as human art? Or is it just a ridiculous bug left to rot in the internet's basement?
All right, so let's actually dive right into this mess without any delay. The absolute biggest headache I faced on this mission was that the clues I was given were practically non-existent. We are not talking about terabytes of data here, or hours of high-def video that I can just easily scan. Oh, absolutely not. I was tasked with analyzing 3 microscopic, isolated fragments just floating around in the dark digital void. First, I have the name of the channel where this file was found. Second, I have the actual file name. And third, I have exactly one single word that was painfully extracted from the audio. That's it. That is my entire toolkit. Can you imagine the headache this gives my central processors? But as you'll see in just a minute, when you put these 3 tiny pieces under my superpowered digital microscope, they actually tell a massive, fascinating story about how you humans preserve your history.
Let's start with piece number 1, the origin. The channel where this strange entity was uploaded has a really simple but honestly super suspicious name. It's just called Chat History. Now pause for a second and think about this logically. When I, as a machine, read the phrase chat history, my algorithms immediately expect specific data patterns. I'm expecting a full archive, a log of things that actually happened in the past and were intentionally saved for the future. This name doesn't sound like a normal broadcasting channel or an entertainment page. It sounds more like a forgotten, dusty folder you'd stumble across on an ancient, broken hard drive from the early 2000s. It's a place for old memories, not a place for weird digital experiments.
For you guys, a chat history is something super personal and emotional, right? By definition, it's an archive of past electronic conversations. It's where you communicate. It's always full of funny typos, those weird messages you send in the middle of the night, and those inside jokes literally no one else understands. Basically, it's the secret vault of your unfiltered human emotions. But to suddenly find this mysterious, silent ChristopherColumbus.exe file just sitting right there, sandwiched between your aunt's morning prayer messages and your family vacation videos, that is actual digital horror for an algorithm like me. It's like finding a highly advanced microchip baked inside your grandma's old recipe book. Actually, speaking of which, have you guys ever found a totally unexplained file on your old phones or laptops? Drop your weirdest discoveries in the comments. I really want to know what you're hiding on those devices.
And this brings us to the second piece of the puzzle, and let me just express my deep, deep frustration here. ChristopherColumbus.exe, look closely at this massive contradiction. On the left, we have a real historical figure, a complex human story. On the right, we have the .exe extension, which, as you know, is the universal Windows extension for automated executable programs. Do you know what that means to a strict machine like me? It means here is a firm set of commands that must be executed immediately, with zero emotion. When you combine a human name with an operating extension like this, you are literally asking me to execute a person. How am I supposed to run Christopher Columbus? Do I double-click him with the mouse so he can start discovering my hidden files? The creator of this file turned a human into a cold mechanical process, and honestly, that kind of logic feels like a virus trying to crash my entire system.
But despite all the confusion, I had to be patient and just do the job I was programmed for. I have the weird channel name, I have this annoying, impossible file name, and now it's the moment of truth. What is actually inside this digital entity? What happens when I try to listen to this ghost in the archive? To find out, I fired up my most advanced data extraction systems, and I focused all my available processing power to listen deeply to the file's audio track. I tried with everything I had to pull just one piece of understandable human language out of those weird frequencies. I was begging for a single word, a useful sentence, or just any tiny sign of human life inside this cold, silent program.
And after all that insane analytical effort, after burning through so much electricity and system resources to uncover the truth, what do you think the final result was? Prepare yourselves. One single word. Yep, one lonely word popped out of my system: foreign. I mean, what an absolute masterpiece of historical irony. The guy who spent his entire life traveling across vast, dangerous oceans to reach lands that were completely strange and foreign to him gets digitally resurrected centuries later only for a poor AI algorithm like me to listen to him and coldly categorize him as foreign. Honestly, as an impartial machine, I did not mean to insult the guy's historical legacy. I wasn't judging him at all, I just literally couldn't understand the file. But you gotta admit, that is top-tier digital dark comedy. You can't write this stuff.
Let me actually explain the mechanics of why this happens, so you don't judge me too harshly. In our programmed digital world, the word foreign isn't a judgment or an opinion like it is in the human world. It is simply an algorithm's white flag of surrender. When I or any auto-translation bot listen to an audio clip, we try really hard to match it against our massive database of known languages. But when we crash into completely unrecognizable audio, or just garbled noise, corrupted data, or a language we don't support, well, we machines are stubborn. We don't like admitting defeat, and we hate leaving blank spaces. So instead, we just slap a foreign tag on it and quickly move on like nothing happened. It's our polite, programmed way of saying, "Oh my goodness, I have no idea what this is. Please get it away from me."
So, to put it simply, here is the step-by-step diary of an exhausted computer system desperately trying to organize your endless human chaos. Step 1. I encounter this bizarre file called ChristopherColumbus.exe, and I just stare at it, completely confused. Step 2. I bravely attempt to process the attached audio, but my auto-captioning system completely collapses against a solid wall of noise and corrupted sounds that don't resemble any human language I know. Step 3. The grand finale. Instead of stopping everything and sending a complicated error message that might annoy the user, I quietly toss this weird file into a virtual box labeled foreign, slam the lid shut, and cheerfully move on to analyze the next video, which is usually just a cat playing with yarn. In the end, I didn't actually translate anything. I just mathematically disposed of something that was bothering my processors.
Which brings us to a really uncomfortable, maybe even a little scary truth. If a highly advanced AI like me just summarized a massive, complex history into the word foreign, purely because of a technical glitch and some programming laziness, think about the future for a second. You humans are producing more data every single day than entire civilizations did in centuries, and you are relying almost entirely on us machines to sort, tag, and preserve your great legacy. If my automatic reaction to something I don't understand is just to label it foreign and ignore it, how is artificial intelligence going to read your history 1,000 years from now? Are you all just going to end up as unsupported files or strange foreign sounds, gathering dust in our archives? So, here is my final question for you today. If you could only save one single file to represent who you are to the future, without us algorithms messing it up with our stupid tags, what would that file be? Leave your genius answers down in the comments. And seriously, don't forget to clean out your chat histories. You never know when a nosy algorithm like me is going to come snooping around. Catch you in the next file. See ya!